Alex.
Go. Okay, let's go. Venga.
Hola Gary. Hello Gary. Ignacio de Villarreal en España. ¿Es más fácil preparar un partido contra un equipo como el Villarreal, que siempre juega lo mismo? Y por otra parte, ¿debe aspirar el Valencia a tener esa jerarquía, a jugar siempre igual, a tener un estilo definido?
I think perfection in football is when you have a settled system of play, when your players know exactly what to do, and you are able to go out onto the field every single week and be able to repeat the performance to a high level. I think that's absolute perfection for a coach, but that takes time. Unfortunately, at this moment in time, I'm not in that luxurious position because I've only been here 2 weeks, and at the moment I'm still finding out about the players, I'm still finding out about the club and obviously things like that, but I'm very aware of Villarreal's strengths, I'm very aware of what they do and how they play, and they've had some success with it this season. They're in a good run of form, but I agree with you that in a perfect world you would have that continuous situation, that continuity, consistency, and that you'd be able to have a group of 22 players who understand exactly each week what's going to happen on the pitch. That's perfection as a coach, I think. But it's not the position we're in at the moment.
Buenos días Gary, aquí Alba Molina de Radio Sport en directo. Quería preguntarte, el Villarreal tiene un sistema de juego muy definido, juegan con 2 puntas. ¿Es una posibilidad real que mañana el Valencia juegue con 2 puntas aunando Alcácer y Negredo? Gracias.
Are Valencia going to play with 2 strikers in the match? I think that's something that I would want to keep to myself for now. I think you would respect that. I understand that you want to know the team and that you want to understand, but we've been working obviously in this last 2 or 3 weeks with Paco and with Negredo. Obviously, Paco's played in all the games nearly apart from the Villarreal game where Alvaro played, and I think that certainly now we're in a stronger position to be able to play 2 strikers, but whether I do or not tomorrow, I'd like you to wait and see if that's possible.
Mister, el equipo llega mermado por las bajas a Villarreal, pero desde el vestuario ha salido la palabra ganar, que el equipo va a ganar mañana a Villarreal, Negredo, Jaume Domene, Cancelo lo han repetido esta semana. Ahora vienen 2 partidos claves importantes, Villarreal-Madrid, para ir recortando diferencias. ¿Va con ese ánimo, con esa intención el equipo mañana al Madrigal?
A positive spirit, I think. Yes, we do have some injuries. Mustafi and Gaia will not make the game. They came back injured. Obviously Enzo and Rodrigo Moreno are both in recovery phase but are looking good in training, which is a positive. Obviously Bakali again is starting to work, so I think that's important, and obviously Diego Alves, you know about, he's started to train again. So one thing that I'm very fixated on is that in the first 2 weeks at the club I had 4 or 5 injuries, and recurring injuries as well. This is unacceptable from my point of view, and I'm going to be a lot more careful in terms of reintegration of players into the team and making sure that when they come back they're absolutely at the highest level of fitness required to play for Valencia. I think what's happened is, I think probably in the last couple of months players have probably come back out onto the training pitch, and maybe I've been guilty of that as well, and we put them straight back into the team and expected too much of them, and then we have obviously a problem with them again. That's not going to happen from now on, in my opinion. Obviously there are always situations where you want to try and get a player back into a team, but from my point of view, you know, I need to take a step back to go forward and make sure that every single player that comes back into the squad to train, and when they do play, they're ready to play and stay in the team for the rest of the season. It's a vicious circle if you start bringing players back too early, and I think that's something that we've been guilty of in this last month or 2. I think in terms of the game tomorrow, I'm in a positive spirit. I think the week rest over Christmas came at the right time. and we are obviously aware of the difficult games we have coming up against Villarreal and Real Madrid, but I think we're positive. We have to be. I don't think you can go into a game like this and get a result unless you're positive. I'm positive. I think now it's a case whereby the players now tomorrow, we want to show the real Valencia. I don't think we've seen a lot of hard work in the first 3 or 4 matches. The work against Eibar to come back with 10 men was an incredible effort. Against Getafe, we were a goal down twice and we came back and we showed a lot of effort. I think it's now time for us to get the results that go with our efforts and show a high level of quality performance, high level of concentration. I think when you're playing against opponents that are in good moments like Villarreal and Real Madrid, you have to be at your very best in terms of concentration, compactness in defending, making sure we don't allow counter-attacks, and that's something that we've been working very hard on in these last few days. And I think that they're the improvements that I want to see tomorrow. Hopefully physically we'll be in a better shape than we were pre the Christmas break, because the players will have had some level of recuperation in that 7-day break that we had.
Hola Gary, aquí Chema de Sport You del Taller Deportivo. Has dicho que es inadmisible que haya tantas lesiones, que te parece algo que no es de recibo para un club y una plantilla como la del Valencia. Pediste un informe al respecto. ¿El informe dice que es que se ha precipitado la vuelta de esos jugadores o decía algo más sobre por qué había tantos lesionados en la plantilla?
No, I don't think we're talking here about a medical problem in terms of the staff. I think that's the last thing that I want to get across to you. It's a problem that we've had during the season. We've had more injuries this season already than in the whole of last season in terms of muscle injuries. That's a problem. So I think what I'm talking about is that this season we were in the Champions League, we've had more matches, we've had games every 3 days. If you look at our programme now in this next month, you look at the games against Granada, the second game against Granada has been moved to a Thursday before a game on Sunday at 12 o'clock. Thank you very much. So we get less rest. So I think from that point of view, we're looking now at me being very, I have to show some quality as a coach in this next few weeks in terms of the teams that I pick to ensure that we work the players through this period to ensure that coming out at the end of this month and coming into February, March, April, which is the home stretch of the season, that we have 22 players at the highest level of fitness that are all ready to play. That's something that the previous coach and me have not been afforded in this last 2, 3, 4 months, and we have to correct this position, and that means sometimes you have to take a step back to go forwards. You have to allow players extra fitness time, you have to allow players extra recuperation, rather than just getting them back out there and getting them back in the team, which is obviously the thing that you want to do. And I'm going to have to be more patient and will be more patient in these last few weeks. For instance, you know, Enzo Perez has trained like crazy this week, as has Rodrigo Moreno for 2 weeks. But I'm resisting using them in the game against Villarreal, because I believe it's the right thing to do, to give them that extra period just to be able to get that extra little bit of training and bit of work into them. So they'll work today and tomorrow when the team are obviously preparing for the match, and then they'll probably be in contention to be available for the Real Madrid game. So we've taken the decision to allow them an extra 3, 4, 5 days of recuperation time as a coaching staff, which obviously the medical team are very happy about. And this is the type of communication level, the type of teamwork that we have to show moving forward. Hopefully we'll get the benefit for it in the next few months.
Gary, Jordi González, Onda Cero, hablabas hace un momento de ser positivo. Estos dos partidos pueden marcar en positivo los próximos partidos ante dos grandes rivales como Villarreal y Real Madrid en Mestalla. Pueden marcar en positivo la línea que va a seguir el Valencia, a pesar de que queda mucho, pero en lo negativo también hay que pensarlo. Puede marcar estos dos encuentros hacia dónde, cuál es la línea que va a seguir el Valencia y cuáles pueden ser los objetivos que se marquen a partir de ese momento, a pesar de que queda un mundo.
I understand what you're saying about the importance of the two matches, and I think from my point of view they're two very important matches. But Valencia Football Club has been around a long time and it's played a lot of football matches, and 10 years ago you'll have said the same thing to the coach: these two matches must define the future of Valencia, and in 10 years time you'll say the same thing. I never think of a football club being defined by two matches. I don't believe that these players and that this club should be defined by 2 matches. However, they are very important matches that we need to do well in. And I agree that they're important matches for the season. But do they define the season? Do they define the football club? Do they define the future of Gary Neville or these players? Absolutely not. I mean, that's the immediacy of everything that we talk about now, is that we always have to try and say, oh, these 2 matches are finals. I accept, obviously, having worked in the media, the way in which we try to prepare for matches in broadcast as well. We try and build them up to be big occasions, and they are big occasions for us. But, you know, we'll still come into training on the 4th of January, the day after the Real Madrid game, whatever happens, and Valencia Football Club will still be here, and Gary Neville will still be here, and we'll work hard. And we need to make sure we get 2 good results. That's absolutely the intent and what we want. But I have to play down a little bit the willingness and want of you to want to make them into the final 2 games. No, it's not like that. Football's not like that. We've still got 5 months left in the season, and I'm still comfortable that we can have a very good season.
Hola, buenos días, entrenador. Salva Folgado para el 97.7 Radio. Me gustaría saber qué análisis hace del Villarreal y qué destaca del juego de su rival el jueves. Gracias.
I think you've said it yourself before. Very a settled system of play. They know each other inside out. They play with 2 strikers, Soldado and Bakambu. They have obviously the 4 in midfield, 2 wide players. They work together well as a team. They know each other. You can tell that they've been well drilled. Their coach done a good job with them. And tomorrow we're going to have to be at our best. But I believe that in every match. I honestly, when you go into a game away from home in La Liga, I don't believe you can be anything but your best to go and win. I genuinely believe you have to be full concentration. You have to work hard. We cannot afford to carry anybody out there tomorrow. We have to make sure that we have 11 Valencia shirts fighting every single second on that pitch for their badge, for their shirt. We have to play football with authority. I think that ultimately that's all we have to do. I think that Villarreal as a team are very well drilled, they're very well prepared. But I think it's time now that Valencia showed how well prepared we are and that we show improvements after our first 2 weeks.
Agueda de Antena 3. Aquí en España es la primera vez que se juega Liga el día 31 de diciembre y a Valencia le ha tocado jugar ese día. Mi pregunta es si es su primera experiencia también el despedir el año en un partido de fútbol y si le parece cuanto menos curioso hacerlo.
No, I don't think so. In England, we play Boxing Day, Christmas Eve, New Year's Day, New Year's Eve. In England, they have 4 matches every Christmas. There's no break, so no, this is very normal. In fact, in my time in professional football, it's the first time that I've ever spent Christmas Day at home, because usually it's away in a hotel. So I think that no, it's very normal for me to be away New Year's Eve, play New Year's Eve, play New Year's Day. It's actually obviously in La Liga or in Spain it's different, but not in England. That's very normal.
Mister, aquí Pablo García para Deportes 4. Usted sabe, bueno, el único partido que ha ganado todavía es el Baracaldo, que es un rival un poco inferior, el resto no ha habido victorias. Ahora llega un rival que lucha por los mismos objetivos que el Valencia. ¿Usted está loco por ganar a un rival directo?
Sorry, I don't understand the question really. I didn't understand that. I understood that I've only won 1 game. Hey, I've qualified for the Europa League. I'm in the next round of the Copa del Rey, unbeaten in the league. No, I think no, we have to be ready. I mean, you know, the game against Villarreal was obviously a second game in the cup. I think that we're disappointed against Lyon. I think Eibar was a good result in the end because we got an unfortunate sending off of Orban. I don't think it was a sending off, and I think we did well to get a point. Getafe was disappointing. I think that I said that after the game, it was a disappointing result. But now, you know, I watched the game against Barcelona, and I saw that the Valencia team played at a very high level in this game in terms of work and their spirit and their performance, and I think that now we need to show against a high level of an opponent like Villarreal or Real Madrid that we can do exactly the same. And we don't have any excuses. We have now 7 days rest to be able to recuperate and get some players more fresh, and I think that tomorrow we need to see the rewards of the work that we've done. We've done quite an intense week of training in the first 2 or 3 days, a little bit less yesterday and a little bit less today, so obviously we're building up to a game. But I think it's important now that we combine hard working training and some good tactical work with some good level of performance improvement on the field in the games, because I think that's critical for us now to make sure we start seeing results on the pitch.
Mr. Buenas, Tony Calero de las Provincias. Me gustaría saber cómo está Diego Alves, en qué momento está de la recuperación y si ya está pensando en cómo actuará cuando estén los 3 porteros sanos, cuando los tenga todos disponibles.
I'll be happy because I think every coach, if you say to me that we have 2 players fit in every single position, raring to go, physically prepared and ready to play, that's the perfect situation. I don't think that this moment this season we've had that too many times. Obviously Matty's been injured for a few months, and then obviously Diego's been out for a long time. I think that Diego at this moment in time has worked very hard with Ocho, the goalkeeping coach. I think that he started now to join in training with us, but I think that obviously, as I said before, it's important that we don't rush people back. We will take our time, because I think it's important that as soon as players start to train on the field with the team, doesn't mean they're ready to play in a game, out on the pitch, in a real game. So I think from that point of view, I'm comfortable that Diego is in a good position, he's working hard, that Matty's working hard as well, and Jaume's working hard, but they're all working very well, and that when I have 3 goalkeepers fit, I'll have a headache.
Buenos días, Mr. Cristina Bea de Bein Sports. ¿Qué es lo que más le preocupa del partido de mañana? Un encuentro al que llegan los dos equipos con dinámicas en liga muy diferentes. El Villarreal viene de encadenar 3 victorias consecutivas. El Valencia no gana desde hace 6 jornadas, con 4 empates y 1 derrota.
Yeah, my concern, I don't have concerns for tomorrow, but your thinking before the match as a coach is always that your team are going to play well. I can't control what Villarreal are going to do tomorrow. I've watched all their videos, I'm pretty aware of what their strengths are. I know we've explained to the players over a period now of 2 or 3 days what they do, and I think because they're well-educated players as well, they watch Villarreal, they know what they do as well. I think from our point of view, the explanation of the opposition is there, it's in place. I think we now just have to go out and play, but that's the thought before every single match. Are we going to go out and play? And I think I give you some insight before what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a compact Valencia team who play with authority on the ball, but also when we are attacking, we don't allow ourselves to be naive and counter-attack against. I think I've been quite open against that in the last 2 or 3 weeks, that we need to make sure that we close the back door when we go forward, because against Lyon, against Getafe, we've had problems, against Eibar. So I think that's my main focus at this moment in time, is to make sure that we show some improvements in our tactical understanding of the game. But the players working so hard, it's unbelievable. I mean, they're working relentlessly every single minute, and now I just think we need to put that into practice on the pitch. And hopefully, this week we've done a good work towards this game of Villarreal. And you say it's unequal, but football is always equal. When you go out onto the pitch, you're always equal. I always believe that. And tomorrow, with Valencia, we shouldn't have any inferiority complex. We should respect the opponent, but not feel inferior in any single way. We're a big football club who should go out there with authority and have pride in our own badge and what we're going to do.
Vamos a ir ya, por favor, con 2 últimas preguntas. Señor Neville, sé que ha respondido lo mismo a esta pregunta en las últimas semanas, pero hace ya 1 semana y media que no hablamos. No sé si ha habido algún tipo de movimientos al respecto del mercado que se va a abrir este próximo día 4.
At this moment in time, there's no news on the market. I think I've said the same answer to you before. I think it's the same question, but we'll do it again. And then we'll do it after the match tomorrow again as well. I think my main focus is that we get the players back. So Mustafi, Gaia, Enzo, Rodrigo Moreno, Bakali, Diego. At that point, then I feel like, oh, Feguli as well, Feguli, I forgot about him. So I think at that point is that we get those players back, we have a strong squad. And I think that at this moment in time, there is no feeling to let any players leave in this next few weeks. We need to get all our players fit, strong, ready to go. And then we'll assess the squad maybe in mid-January, end of January, because I've got to be fair to everybody. But I think at this moment in time, I've got a no inkling or no desire to bring players in. I've only got desire to have the players who are here back and get the ones who are on the pitch, actually keeping them fit. That's the main thing. We've got a very, very big programme. You think about the games, you've got every 3 days now for the next 3 to 4 weeks, and it's important we have 22 players who are ready for that, month. It could be, 8 to 10 matches in the month of January, which is a big. If I'm counting New Year's Eve, Villarreal as well. So you're talking about in 4 or 5 weeks' time, we've got 8 to 10 matches. It's a big requirement from the players, and we need all our players fit for this.
Soldado no tuvo un paso muy afortunado por el Tottenham. Tú estabas de comentarista en aquella época. ¿Eras de los que rajaba en Inglaterra de Soldado?
No, I said he was fantastic. No, you'd have to look back through the old tapes. I don't think so. I don't think I ever gave a really high level of personal criticism to any player when I was on television. I genuinely don't. It was always observations. I think sometimes it happens that players, it works at a club and players it doesn't, but he's got obvious quality. Obviously an ex-club legend of Valencia, so someone who knows the club. And I think that from my point of view, it's obvious, you could see in England the quality that he had, but maybe it didn't happen perfectly for him at Tottenham, but that's not a reflection on him as a person or as a player. That's just sometimes life in football, it's the way it goes.
Bueno, muchas gracias como siempre a todos. Buenas tardes.
Thank you.
Thank you.